Everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Citizen concerns, anyone? Next, on to old business, under Riverside Park cannon carriages. Anybody have anything on that? I can report that it's moving along, and there's a 501c3 that's being created, and it's through a private fund. So let everybody know that.
Is it for a donation for the carriages, or is that? Because I know the city was talking about doing one.
It's for the carriages, and the idea is so it could be a tax write-off for them as well,
Okay.
or contribution, I should say.
Do we know if the city is still planning to? I know at one time they're talking about doing it internally in the house. Is something we can find out from the administration?
Well, I think since people have received this information, and save us a considerable amount of money.
Well, I don't disagree. I don't want I want to make sure the administration is aware of it.
Oh, absolutely, and I have made mention of it to Kate briefly, and I will, of course, bring it to Bridget's attention if she's not here this evening. But
She's,
thank you.
Oh.
not COVID.
We have to add that caveat now.
I will continue to add to that. How's that? As far as the splash pad, does anybody have anything to add to that? Okay. How about the multi-purpose wall? Does anybody have anything to say about the west side handball court? Anybody? Under new business, we have a crack appointment, and I would like Randy Farringer, who has been nominated by the mayor for an appointment, to come up and speak. And if you could give us your name and your address and tell us why you'd like to be on crack. And welcome.
Hi, thank you. My name is Randy Farringer. Address is 250 Birchdale Road. And one, I just want to say thank you again. And a couple of reasons why I was thrilled and wanted to be on here if appointed is one, lived in Perrysburg for almost 20 years now, and a lot of the parks I enjoy going to. The girlfriend I have, we love to walk around the parks. Any new additions we like, or just walking through the parks and the trails. And I think overall, by being Black, this gives me a sense of giving back to the community. Being here for so long, I wanted to, I'm always trying to think of ways how to be more involved in the community. And I think especially days today, which is kind of weird being in November, how warm it was, but it reminds me of how much we cherish our parks, and sometimes we take them for granted. And so if I can have the privilege of going to all of the parks we have and just seeing if there's something that needs to be done, construction-wise, or let's say if there's a sidewalk that's being cracked, and then after a while it has been fixed, I can at least bring that to a point and try to, find a resolution to it and solve it. But I think overall, though, I thought about this, and I think for me, it would just be my little happiness of doing what I can to give back to Perrysburg and just being more involved. So, because I think we have a lot of great parks here, and of course Perrysburg keeps on growing, and I think we want to keep that up, not only for the residents we currently have, but new ones, and also all the visitors that do come in as well. So I would just be honored if I could serve.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Let's see. And then just mainly just doing a lot of research on everything. and I feel like I know I can serve well. I know I won't let the citizens down. I know I won't let any of you down at all. And I know I would work fully on going around everywhere, trying to think of new resolutions, brainstorming, talking to my neighbors and other residents, and seeing what else they would like. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And did you give us your address?
Yes.
I heard it. Okay.
250 Birchdale Road.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
And I would like to make a motion to recommend Randy Feringer to PrAC.
I would like to say something first.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jen. Sorry.
No, Mike, did you?
I only had a comment
I was
on
going to
anything
make a
else.
comment too. but-
It's just that I got to know Mr. Farringer here over at least the last couple of years. I know that you have the best interest in the city at heart, and I know that you'll do well for this committee. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you appointed.
That's what I was going to say. I know Randy and I know he'll do a good job. He'll give it all, his all, so.
Okay. I'm going to mention that again. Need a motion to recommend Randy Feringer to PrAC.
I'll second.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And also I would like to make mention that Chris, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, is going to be also reappointed, and Jessica Kemp is going to be reappointed as well. Chris Patrick will be reappointed as well by the mayor, and they will come up before the next council meeting as well. As far as other new business, we have the budget before us, and I know I only received a lot of this around 3 p.m., so I hope some of you had a chance to comb through it. And Kate is here, and I hope she can answer our questions, should we have any.
If I cannot, what I did with the previous committee meeting was I wrote down the questions, and I will give them to the city administrator, and she will email you all when she is feeling up to it.
I appreciate that very much. Does anyone have any questions regarding recreation?
Just kind of looking through the budget, I know a lot of the changes in the downside is just that loss of the extra week of the employee. It was 27 weeks of pay periods last year and 26 this next year, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
I know that it looks like that the contract with the pool is going to be going up, or at least anticipated to go up this next year as well, about 3%, based off what I'm seeing here from the budget, which I'm assuming that that's all specifically for the pool. The only thing that I just wanted to ask about as well is I know it may mention in the past about possibly additional acquisition of parkland at some point, maybe on the western side of the town. I know that isn't necessarily in the budget sheets that we received, but there is funds that are set aside through the developments that have happened in town, and I just would like to remind the administration, I think we should always keep our eyes peeled for a open lot or something that would be a benefit to the community as a park, especially in areas that is underserved, or ways that can provide a good economic or livable benefit for the community as well.
I have a question about I'm looking at are you gonna go through this
Yes.
item by item? Okay, well,
And
never
if you'd
mind.
like, we can do that, or
It can
however you'd
wait.
like to do it.
However you wanna do it.
Well, we can go through, would you like to go through the pool and the pond budget worksheet part? Would you like to start on that? What questions do you have, or do you have regarding that?
Is it around the pool one you said? I
Yeah.
apologize.
It's on the pool and pond.
Yeah.
Pool and pond, does anybody have any questions regarding that?
Do we have it in here how much more it's gonna cost us?
For the-
Probably don't, the pool.
It's on the pool and pond budget worksheet.
Yeah.
Looks like the contract is going up about $7,000. So it's about 2.4% increase. Everything else is staying pretty much the same. I know that we don't know exactly how much was truly spent in 2020, so
Right.
that there's going to be some reductions on that one. We'll know that more a little bit later. And I'm trying to pull up some of the other budgets here just to kind of compare.
I don't know if either of you happen to see this on the, about the total for the Three Meadows Pond. I had a question about this, perhaps Ms. Sandretta may have a sense, or she can ask Ms. Cabot. But I see on here $6,450 on the total for Three Meadows Pond, and I guess that seems really high to me.
Do some work on it.
Well, I know that they have to have insured through the insurance, so part of that history there. Looks like that they have some other lights and fuel stuff for that pond area, but it looks like they have stuff on maintenance. And I'm assuming just from working at the cemetery board, with the maintenance that goes along with keeping the pond cleaned out. That might be it, but I would like them to answer to find out a little more about
I
that.
would as well, yeah, because all I see listed on here is insurance, repairs, fuel and lights and telephone. I guess I'm wondering if that's really going to be that exact cost, and if that's actually accurate, because of 2020 and COVID and what we've been going through. Is there any other questions regarding that part of the budget?
No, I don't need, other than knowing that
Okay,
we really,
I'm sorry, Jeannie.
we kind of don't know how this is gonna land because of COVID, because I imagine this program's cut and stuff.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so,
On recreation budget worksheet, that's where I'm at right now, 2021 proposed budget. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I did about the summer theater, is there, and it could very well be because they're expanding the program or whatever, it's double, almost triple, but double of what it was in the previous 2 years.
You're talking about summer recreation?
The youth summer theater program,
51269, it looks like the 51269 and the 51268 flipped in the budget, but we have an explanation as to why.
yeah, are they expanding the program, are they going virtual, it's costing more or what?
Good
Well, that's
question.
quite a raise from 2,650 to 7,000.
Yes, it is. I don't have an answer on that either. We asked Ms. Cabot to give us an answer on that, please. Ms.
Yes.
Sandretta?
And why there's no money budgeted for safety town next year? Is it the same reason? Or does someone do it for us?
Good question, because I think that usually is out of the police department, and they do that once a year. They do a great job, by the way.
My son went through it, it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why, I wonder the same, why
It
is it
hasn't
at
been
zero?
budgeted since 2018, so my guess is that has to get paid for out of a different budget.
Okay.
It's not suddenly zeroed out. There hasn't been safety town since at least 2018 on this budget.
Okay.
I do have a question about that, since they had, both Jan and Jonathan had brought that up on Safety Town. Would that be under the police budget, perhaps?
I will find out.
One thing, just going back, I pulled up the up-to-date, at least as of September 30th, the trial balance for the city of Perrysburg on the contract for the pool. And it doesn't look like there's any receipts or expenses to note as of year-to-date for that contract. So just as a update on that, it looks like year 2 expense on the contractual service is $6,337.31 of the $274,000 that was set aside. So it looks like it's very little. 97% of the budget hasn't been utilized, if I'm reading that correctly. So there's some savings with everything with COVID.
I have a question about music and market. Would that be through the Chamber of Commerce and or the tourism? Or would that be us as well?
No.
2,400.
I'm sorry, can you give me a code
Sure,
number?
it's 110.1650.51268. It says music and market, it's under public recreation.
Oh, it's under other expenses on the.
Yes, and it's 2,400, 2,400. Would that be yes through the city, or would that be through the Convention and Visitors Bureau?
It says music in the market on this, but then on the budget worksheet, they had to have it as a PAAC agreement. So I'd be curious to see what the
Okay,
difference
so
is, because
music and
it,
market is on the public recreation, 51268, 2,400. And 5126, is that on the front page? 51268?
yeah, it's under PAAC agreement. But it's listed differently on the actual trial balance sheet.
As 20, okay, so are music and market and PAAC agreement the same thing?
I'm wondering, is that Perrysburg Arts Area Council? I don't even know if does anybody know if they even exist anymore?
I don't know, but I wonder if it's the music they play on Thursday night at Commodore.
Yeah, but that would be music to market, which would, I believe that the Convention and Visitor Bureau
Yeah.
fronts quite a bit of that.
Good question. I
Okay,
actually looked at that and that's what I assumed. I didn't know what this said.
Yeah.
Well, it could be said that we enjoy the music at the market, and the arts are important in our community, but we need to have the question answered.
I thought it was a downtown business association.
I think it's pretty much a Visitor Convention Bureau.
Yes.
But that might be unfortunate that maybe we can kick in, because it is down from what it was in previous years, from 7,000 to 2,400, so we won't be reducing that and figuring
Right.
it out.
Yeah.
but if you notice, not to complicate things, but PAC or music and market, depending how what it is, and youth summer theater flip,
Yeah,
and I don't have a good explanation for why.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And they flipped back in 20. So in 19, PAC had 7,000 and youth summer theater had 2,600. And in 20, PAC had 2,400 and youth summer theater had 7,000. So it's like combined, they're almost the same budget. The question is, why did they flip?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the PAAC means Perrysburg Area, I forget, Perrysburg Area Arts Council. That's what I was questioning, if they're still in existence, because I thought they were not. Does anybody know?
First page may be wrong. Well, it would have been PAC in previous years, possibly. But
Okay.
now maybe it's music and market.
Got it.
This is good.
I will ask.
Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions under public recreation? Okay. Moving on. Parks and Playgrounds Budget, Worksheet 2021 Proposed Budget. Does anyone have any questions regarding this?
I do. Don't we get, I'm trying to think how to put this. The softball and baseball fields are rented from us, aren't they? Or is there a fee they pay for maintenance and lights?
I am not positive on that question. Do you have the answer to that, Ms.
Well,
Andretto?
what I can say is that this budget is just debits. It's no
okay.
credits. So
Okay, that
what
would
you're
explain
looking
it.
at are just the expenses.
Right. Not the
So,
income.
because when we do credits, we don't credit individual budgets. We credit the budget as a
The
whole.
general fund.
Yes. So credits are in the broader sense in the big budget. Debits are defined by each individual budget. So while yes, it is quite possible that we do get rental fee, you wouldn't see that here because you don't see any profit making in any of these. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
there's all the expenditure once we receive the money.
yeah, it's not really profit, it's a,
Right. But it would be a credit on a line item.
right, yeah, offset.
anyone have any other questions regarding the 2021 Parks and Playgrounds?
I guess what I would like to know as well, is get an idea of what the city is looking at doing on possible upgrades around our parks. I know that for imagination, the city put in those, can't even name them because I sent it over to them, but the swings for the parents to swim with their child. And I know those are a great addition. They're heavily used there right now. We have some of our playgrounds where the swings are falling apart to a certain extent. It'd be nice to know what the plans are moving to the next year. Doing some of these repairs, and where we're prioritizing some of these repairs in the parks, with especially how heavily they were used this year. Even though during a certain amount of time they weren't used at all, it could be. But after they were opened up, they've been hit pretty hard. So I'll let you know that. And then going back to the question of the safety town, I actually pulled up the budget where that is. It is on the police division, and there is $13,510 that's set aside for the safety town. And last year, obviously, nothing was used, but I shouldn't believe that correct. Nothing was used this last year so far.
Jan?
Are they going to continue with the porta johns?
Yes. Versus, let me not say yes. Versus what?
Open up the restrooms.
Yeah.
So not every park has,
They have restrooms, but they have been closed due to COVID versus having to clean them.
so not every park has restrooms, I don't think.
That's correct.
I would like to see the justification of why they're closed. Well, how can the metro parks keep theirs open during COVID?
So my understanding of the reason that we're using the porta johns is that we use COVID money to purchase
Okay.
the hands-free. So you can essentially, other than, I think, getting in the door, you can get the disinfectant for your hands, pretty much do the whole process without touching stuff. Whereas the bathrooms may not have those features.
That's impossible. Someone's
But-
using porta johns.
I know, but like, I think that they are,
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to consider starting to slowly open up our
I
restrooms.
don't understand how metro parks can and we can't. And we probably are gonna close them for the winter anyhow, right? We typically close them in the winter.
That's a good question, and to add to that, I've also noticed on Second Street that the bathrooms, the city bathrooms have been closed
Yeah.
all during this time, and I would
Yeah.
agree with you.
And now that we have the equipment to get in there and do those disinfectants on a nightly basis, I don't see a reason not to if it's an emergency.
I will ask the people that know more about bathroom cleanliness than I do.
I just don't understand that. I think, in my opinion, the porta johns are much more messier.
But yeah, I think porta johns does. I'm just giving you the explanation that I was asking about.
No, I understand.
I'm totally with you.
I'm not
Totally.
attacking you, I'm not attacking anybody, I'm just questioning why certain entities, government entities can get away with this, but we,
And
Yeah,
that-
please don't put in the minutes that I said porta johns are gross.
that's good, a very good question and good thoughts from you, Jan.
Thank you.
I agree with you on that, and I'd also like to thank the Rotary. I think Jonathan's a member of the Rotary Club for doing the pavilion and putting the bathrooms in the pavilion in Rotary, which would be a lot better than having, as been brought to us, the porta potties, I guess I'll say. That's a nicer addition, so thank you very much for you and your organization, what you're doing. Rotary Club.
They'll pass it along. But no.
Does anybody else have any other questions regarding Parks and Playgrounds budget 2021? And I should ask, does anybody want to see anything stay removed from any of these parts of the budget as well?
The only question I would just like to know from our service director, Rob Ross, unfortunately is not here tonight, is just to see if there's anything that he had requested in the budget that was denied. I know in the past we received, there was another sheet that was similar to this that showed some things that were cut out.
Okay.
And if there's anything that's cut out, I would like to know as well, to see if it's something that we as council could may say otherwise.
Okay.
You have to anticipate that we're gonna have monies that weren't used this last year because of
Well,
not programming and stuff.
Well, the answer to that would probably be yes and no.
Yeah, you're right.
So there will be monies that were not used, and I don't want to speak for finance, but we also want to be careful because I think at the end of the year, we're going to be about 6% down
Right.
on income. Now, because there are monies that aren't used and because of COVID and because Perrysburg is fiscally responsible, we're going to be okay. I think we will be okay next year as well. It's just an awareness that that percentage is down, and so as we move forward, to just keep that in mind.
Does anyone else have anything to say or add, or they would like to add to the budgets? Okay. Moving on. On the CRAC report, I will say I attended the CRAC meeting, and I'm very proud of all of the members of CRAC. I think they do a fantastic job, and they keep an eye on their parks. They know what's going on. They give us suggestions. They did bring up a suggestion that I had mentioned at the last council meeting, which was about putting in a crosswalk in between Rotary and Rivercrest Park, and I wanted to share all that with you. They brought that up, and see what you thought about that.
Would, if you don't mind.
Yes, go right ahead.
What I would think that would be a great, actually, discussion on this is for the safety committee, since it would be adding up.
Yes.
I don't disagree with possibly having something like that as an avid runner. But I think that it should be something that we have our police chief look at to see, and then if we do that, is to have those flashing lights, and I would love to see us in more higher pedestrian areas that do not have the traffic signals, and have some sort of way to signal to the traffic that people are there ready to cross, especially as we're getting now where it gets so dark so early.
I did pass it on to the safety as well, but I did want to bring it up to recreation and let all of you be aware that that was brought up from CRAC. And let me be aware of it, see your thoughts. Does anybody else have any other questions or thoughts about they'd like to add before we adjourn? Any thoughts about the budget or anything else that, okay. All right, I would like to adjourn.
Second.
My oven broke. You oven. Yay.
Thank you so much. Fantastic job, everybody.